Perhaps you're like Greg, freaking out in a video. So you can't just use research and play around with it the way you want and say, this is what you need to do. Because research proves it.
Scientifically proven.
It proves nothing. You can interpret it the way that you want. Coach Greg, and in today's video, we're going over the best way to use creatine to maximize muscle growth. I'm gonna say, do I agree or disagree with this research? The research is in fact accurate, but the interpretations that you get from the research is up for debate.
With over 1,000 studies being done on creatine, it's scientifically proven to be an effective and safe supplement to help you build stronger and bigger muscles.
First off, he says that there's over 1,000 studies proving that it helps to build strength and muscle. Proving is a strong word. I would say showing that it probably works, showing that it most likely works in most people, that would be more accurate, but saying it's proven to build muscle, I don't think in everyone. Some people could take creatine, not build any muscle at all. Maybe they even lose muscle. Maybe it's bad for them. And so to say it's proven to work in anyone, it's strong.
So creatine is a substance that we naturally produce and use up as an energy source to power our muscles through the first 10 seconds or so of high intensity activities such as sprints or tough set of bench press.
And so how does creatine work? Well, creatine combines with ADP to form ATP, which is the readily available energy when you're going to work out harder than last time. You get more energy, you don't fatigue as quick, and perhaps you can bench 1 rep more. Also, it causes intracellular water retention, meaning the muscles get more swole, they pump up better. Not only that, it can improve cognitive function, make you smarter, don't tire out when you're learning as much. So it does a lot.
The researchers also broke down the cost per serving for the different forms of creatine.
And so he has creatine monohydrate listed at 19 cents. And frankly, I believe this is probably posted in the past. Creatine has gone up dramatically in price. There's no way I believe you can get a serving of creatine for 19 cents. What does that work out to? $11.40 for 300 grams. I don't see anywhere selling creatine 300 grams for $11.40. The price of creatine for the seller, aka me, has gone up fourfold. So we can't sell creatine for as cheap as it used to because we're paying 4 times the price. If we're paying 4 times the price and sell it for what we used to, we'd probably go in the hole. Think of it. We're trying to make margins. We have to make money. I'm not going to sell creatine as a loss just because I'm a great guy. Sure, I want you to build muscle. You can watch my videos for free. And as a thank you, you can perhaps buy some of my supplements. You don't have to, but if you like to, please do.
All right, so after you've picked up your creatine monohydrate, the next step you want to get right is how much to take.
I never knew that this was up for debate, but Jeremy Ethia, he wanted to debate it. The 5-gram dose that everyone's been saying to use for 25 years, let's not go with that. Let's look at new research and try to find out, can we use less? Because, well, 19 cents a day, well, that's just too much money. Really, Jeremy? But hey, if it's true, if you don't need 5 grams, then that is good advice. So let's look at what the research says.
One study on female swimmers showed that 2 grams per day of creatine monohydrate supplementation for 6 months failed to improve their performance.
And so he says, well, here's research. 1 and 2 grams a day of creatine does absolutely nothing. And here's some other research that says 2.3 grams a day is what you need. And this other research, let's compare 3 grams and 5, and well, they made the same gains. And in fact, the 5-gram group gave you a little bit less than the 3-gram group. Do you really think that those are accurate? Out of 1,000 studies, you can cherry pick one here, one there, and say exactly what you want. Do you really think that there's no benefit of creatine whatsoever at 1 or 2 grams a day, but that at 2.3 or 3 grams, suddenly all the magic happens? He said at the start of the video, taking creatine increases your creatine levels in the body by 30%. If that's at 3 grams, then does it not make sense that at 2 grams it would increase it by 20% and at 1 gram, 10%? But no, let's look at this specific research in this video and let's say 3 grams is all you need. Because, you know, we're trying to save a bunch of money. It's creatine. It's the cheapest supplement you can think of that most of the world believes does in fact work. Why are we trying to cut ourselves short? And listen, let's assume 3 grams a day is the magic amount that shows to work for most people. Do you want to risk it that 3 grams is enough for you? I'm close to 200 pounds of muscle. Allie, my girlfriend, 150 pounds, not a lot of muscle. Should she take 3 grams and I take 3? Or do you think I need more than her? What about 300-pound strongmen? Should they also take 3 grams? And what about a 100-pound, 5-foot-tall female? So really think about it. Do you think that bigger bodies need more creatine, or do we all need the same amount? I think it stands to reason that the bigger you are, the more you need. So why not think of this? 3 grams probably enough for females or smaller lifters. 5 grams probably enough for most lifters, and bigger, huge monsters, Chris Bumstead, Ian Valère, and so on, perhaps they need 6, 7, 8 grams. And then some research says does absolutely nothing. I don't believe that. I believe it's still going to be a benefit because anything you add to it's going to be of some benefit. It'd be like saying, hey, 200 milligrams of caffeine, that helps boost performance. But 190 milligrams? No. Does anyone not believe that there's an increased benefit as you get higher? Same with beta-alanine, 3.2 grams a day. Everyone thinks that's the magic number. You think if you're having 3 grams a day, you're not getting any benefit? At 3.2 exactly, that's when it starts? Do we actually know? Does the science prove this? We don't have proof. We're going to be studying this for centuries. Proof? It's so hard to prove something. We've been talking about calories in, calories out for decades. People still don't believe that. Oh, I don't believe in the laws of thermodynamics. And so you think that there's proof that a supplement works or doesn't based on some studies.
Now, with that being said, when you first start taking creatine, you may actually want to consider bumping up the dose far above this.
And so he's trying to get us to save money, but now he wants us to take 20 grams a day to load so that we can experience the benefits of creatine faster. Well, is that really a good idea? Could it not cause stomach upset if you're taking that high a dose? Why are we saying take 20 grams a day for a week, waste our money taking a whole bunch, and then lower it to 3 after? Why not just take 5? You don't have the patience to wait 2 weeks for creatine to work. I've been using it for 25 years. Oh, I had to load though. And back then, yeah, they said you had to load. Why? Because they wanted to use more and make more money. Creatine back then was close to $100 for 300 grams. Calculated in today's world, that's nearly $200. This was 25 years ago. And so I'm trying to get you to maximize your performance with a natural and safe supplement known as creatine. So why not take 5 grams a day just to be safe?
As your creatine stores increase, your muscles will begin to store more water with it, and your body weight will increase.
Who are we kidding here, Jeremy? You're saying that if you add in creatine, it's going to cause a spike in your weight. How much weight do you think you're actually gaining from creatine? Most people are probably going to gain 1 or 2 pounds of lean tissue over the course of 4 weeks in a month. And so no, I don't think that by adding in creatine, it's going to throw off your weight and think that you're gaining fat and not muscle.
The only potential downside of a loading protocol could be some digestive distress from taking so much at once.
The only potential downfall is digestion distress? He's showing him with an upset. Do you really think that's worth it? Oh, I'm going to make a video on how to save 7 cents a day and recommend doing things that can cause stomach upset. Really? I don't get it. I don't understand why he's making the video this way. Why not keep it simple? 5 grams a day is what people have been saying for years. But hey, it's more fun to make a fancy video and say, I have the newest research on how to use creatine effectively.
Remember, creatine doesn't have an immediate effect. This means that taking a pre-workout doesn't provide any unique benefit, and it makes no sense why many supplement companies still include creatine as part of their pre-workout formula.
And so he's saying that creatine taken right before the gym has no immediate effect, and he's right. And he says it makes no sense that supplement companies like mine, Harder Than Last Time, pre-workout, stim, like mine, that they would have creatine in there. And I'm thinking, yeah, it makes sense because guess what? Not everyone wants to have 20 different containers out like Anthony Mantello, scoop this here, there, 20 different containers all around. If you can have everything in one bottle, does that not make it easier, more simple? And so supplement companies that have creatine in their pre-workouts is because they're trying to make it easier on you. Yes, you can have it separate, like my pre-workout pump that doesn't have creatine in it, but then you gotta have your creatine as well. And so imagine if it was mixed together, like this. You only need 1 scoop, and you're done. And so it's not that it's bad to take creatine as part of a pre-workout, it's just a different way of doing it, hoping to save you the time.
In fact, one study found a 1.7% difference in lean mass increases when taking it after your workout in comparison to before your workout.
And so why would you quote a study that says that creatine taken post-workout is 1.7% better when the results said,
but this difference wasn't significant by research standards?
That's literally saying, yeah, we found this result, but it's meaningless. And so if you quote that and then say, but that's not significant, that means you shouldn't have talked about the study. If it was significant, it was significant. You get it?
As for what to take it with, there is some evidence that taking creatine with carbohydrates and protein increases saturation levels more than just taking creatine on its own.
And so maybe it's a more benefit with taking creatine with carbs, but how do we really know? Is it the carbs that are making you gain the weight? Carbs store water and glycogen. Is it the carbs or the creatine? And so can you see, if you add in creatine into a post-workout carb drink and you gain more weight, do you think it's from the creatine or from the carbs that help you store water? Be like saying, oh, let's take creatine and add D-ball to it, and wow, they gain way more muscle. The group with the D-ball gained more muscle. You can't just say that, the D-ball. D-ball makes you gain the water weight.
But with that being said, there is a small possibility that caffeine consumption may actually hinder the benefits of creatine.
And there's a small possibility that caffeine can somehow make it worse. How much worse? Enough to bother? Do you know what you could do? You could take 5 grams a day and not worry about it. Oh, it has a little bit less absorption. Instead of taking 3 grams the minimum, why don't we just take 5 and you're good? You see how smart that is, to take 5 grams rather than lower the dose to 3, and be sure not to take it pre-workout. Take it after with carbs, and don't take it with caffeine, and make sure you do this and do that. Oh my goodness. That's too much friggin' work, too much thinking. Take 5 grams a day and you're good.
When creatine was combined with regular caffeine consumption, it now failed to provide any performance benefits.
And I'm looking at the study, and he's saying equivalent to 2 to 3 cups a day, and I'm reading 5 milligrams per kilogram. I'm almost 90 kilograms times 5, that's over 400 milligrams. That's more than I'm even supposed to take in a day. If you're abusing caffeine, perhaps taking creatine with caffeine is not so good. Or is it because you're taking too much caffeine, you can't sleep at night, you can't make gains because you're overstimulated? Perhaps you're like Greg freaking out in a video. So you can't just use research and play around with it the way you want and say, this is what you need to do. Because research proves it.
Scientifically proven.
It proves nothing. You can interpret it the way that you want.
Dr. Trexler speculates that it may either have to do with some of the opposing effects that creatine and caffeine have on our muscles from habitual consumption, but the research is still far from conclusive.
You see how you can't just say, proves this, proves that, research does this, research does that? And so you can read 1,000 studies on how to take creatine and do what Jeremy says, or you can listen to me, and I'm saying take 5 grams a day whenever you want, however you want to take it, at any time.
If you're extremely concerned about the potential interference between caffeine and creatine, ditch regular caffeine consumption, since creatine tends to provide greater benefits over time.
So cancel out your entire daily schedule. Don't have your favorite coffee in the morning anymore. And that way you can only have 3 grams of creatine a day. Or you can keep drinking the coffee that you love, and you can have 5 grams and it covers you. But yeah, it weighs 7 cents.
Using creatine monohydrate, follow either the loading protocol or non-loading protocol to saturate your muscles, and then take about 3 grams of it whenever you wish every single day to maintain it.
As I watch this, over 800,000 people watch this, so obviously people are highly interested in how to take creatine. Take 5 grams a day. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching, Greg Doucette IP Pro. If you want to get creatine and other harder than last time supplements, please click the link in the description. Also, we have a newsletter. Get out 5 free recipes, anabolic cookbook. Also, we have weekly giveaways, and we're going to be giving out free nutrition, diet plans, and training plans. Join the freaking newsletter. Almost 200,000 of you are already newsletter subscribers. Please join faster than last time. Also, cookbooks, the Circle diet book, training books, coaching plans by me and my team. Subscribe, click the freaking bell button, comment for the algo, and until next time, I am out.